Good morning. My name is Richard Kraneis, and today I hope to teach you the PMP, Learning PMP Formulas, your own lesson plan. This video was built specifically at the request of a friend of mine, Glenda, who is studying to pass the PMP test. And she asked me to help her with formulas, which is a very large question. So I thought I would make a YouTube video about this question. So this is a PMP formula lesson plan. Everyone, Glenda, everyone learns differently. That's why you need your own PMP lesson plan. And this short lesson will take 15 minutes or less. Before I begin, let me introduce myself. I am Richard Kraneis. My name is unique. It is my brand. I am the only Richard Kraneis in the US or anywhere. There's more information about me at the end of this YouTube video. And professionally, I am and have been a trainer of over 10,000 people in the classroom. But all that really matters is that I teach you successfully today and hopefully have fun in the process. So let's begin and take a look at things as my cat jumps in my lap. Let's take a look at learning PMP formulas and introduction. PMP students often skim over the formulas and then start concentrating on the topic too late. You really need a formula plan to get this accomplished. There's two ways of doing that. You can learn someone else's formula page, which can be quite daunting, a little bit scary sometimes, or you can build your own formula page within the context of your studies. And I'll explain what context means in a little bit. Personally, I choose to learn formulas within the context of my own studies and process by process within PMI's structure. So let's talk about the one method that I do not recommend. You can use it, I just don't think it's a great idea. And that's learning someone else's formula page, and I don't recommend it. You can find many PMP formulas on the internet, and in my experience, I found that this can be a bit scary, maybe a bit depressing. I was a bit scared when I tried to learn someone else's 2 to 9 page formula notes. Now, these are nice people doing their best, often for free, putting up formulas for you on the internet. But the real question is, do you really need to learn all those formulas? Let's just take a quick look at what someone has done in terms of a formula page. You can see this. This is somebody called PMP Prepcast. It's free and downloadable, so they didn't mind. But this is 9 pages long. 9 pages long, talking about exponentiation, essential PMP formulas. It goes on, it goes on. After a while, it starts talking about acronyms. So this is 9 pages long. Here are some of the acronyms. And I think they were very thorough. They're very thorough from a technical writer standpoint of view. But I think that once you look at it, you might be a bit scared, as in, how in the world am I going to memorize all that stuff? You might use their formula page for research purposes, but I really think that you need to look at this from a different perspective. You may think it's a shortcut to learn someone else's formulas. I don't think so. Here's my method. So, my method is to build your own formula page in the context of your own studies. So to do this, you need to build your own formula sheet. And as an example, as I've shown in other videos, I'll show you my completed formula study sheet so you can see what your end product will look like. It'll take me a moment to find it over here. I believe this is it. This is my completed formula page. I've mentioned this elsewhere. This is a chart that's really essential. And then you start filling in your formulas. You can see the formulas filling up here. But my formulas may be different than the formulas you need to learn. But in terms of the formula study sheet, I think that this upper left, finding a way to duplicate this is really important. You can find snapshots of this on the internet. In the worst case, you can even build it on your own. On the right here, you can see that it's kind of tiny, but you can see I had quality names, also HR names. You can just have something blank in that area. But this is what my end product looked like for my formula, PMP formula brain dump. So let's return to the outline. So this is what you want to end up with, is something that looked like that. But you need to build your own. You should begin with an empty formula sheet and build on it, because you need to learn the formulas that you need to learn. So I'm going to show you one that I built. It's not totally empty, but it'll give you an idea of what it should look like. And before I show it to you, let me reaffirm that I absolutely believe the chart in the upper left is essential for understanding schedule variance, cost variance, and earned value formulas. They are not the purpose of this lesson. I just want to show you what my baseline formula sheet looks like, one that I recommend you use. This is it. It's pretty much empty. I'll pump it up a bit more for you so you can see it. Let's go to, I don't know, 100%. Let's see if that's a bit bigger. And you can see the this chart here with schedule variance, cost variance, and earned value stuff. You will find snapshots of this on the internet. And I also put in some of the initial schedule variance formulas because ultimately you're going to have to learn those. So, but I left it blank because you really need to fill this in, and you can build this with Microsoft Word. It's not that tough. You just pop this in as a snapshot with a copy and a paste from elsewhere. You build a simple table like this and start putting in your formulas with explanations of what they do. But you will build what you need to build, and so that's why I left it blank. That's your baseline. Let's return to the outline. So, as I said, I absolutely believe the chart in the upper left is essential. And then you get to the process of, learning, reviewing your formulas. You review your formulas from the PMBOK 5 book that you were given, and you review them in context. So what does in context mean? You should be systematic in studying the PMP 47 processes. Skipping around in studying the PMP doesn't help you a whole lot. I started to make traction and make progress when I systematically studied every single process that existed for the PMP. So how you would begin, you would think, for example, are there any formulas that you can think of that are part of the initiating group? Well, the initiating group is over here, one of my sheets that I created. In the initiating group, you have develop project charter, and you have identify stakeholders. Now, to my best knowledge, there aren't any formulas that come in this area. But this is based on my memory, and what you need to do as a PMP student, you need to go to the PMBOK 5 book, crack it open, and just skim those chapters to see if there's a formula that's in there. Now, by my memory, there aren't any formulas, but what I do remember, and I'll go over here, back to the outline, I don't think there's any formulas there, but I do know that there were formulas that came before the project that started, and you're responsible for knowing them. Do you know what they are? Those processes, just to refresh your memory, are talking about present value and future value. Those formulas were discussed as part of a process. They were discussed in terms of formulas that you needed to know to help and contribute in selecting the project long before developing a project charter, long before identifying stakeholders. So those two formulas that talked about future value and present value and net present value, you should be familiar with those, and you should consider placing them on your sheet over here. So that's your baseline. You're building formulas in context. And again, returning to the formulas. So if they're hard, you write them down. If they're easy, and I'll give you an example of formulas that are easy, benefit cost ratios, that was pretty easy for me. Perhaps that's easy for you also. There's a dollar benefit for a project, and there's a cost for a project, and so you hope that the benefit to cost ratio is greater than 1 to 1 or 2 to 1, 3 to 1. So that wasn't too tough to memorize. So you really don't need to put that down on your formula brain dump sheet. So the next step in this process, and we've talked about, you learn the formulas, write them down in context, and you analyze every single process. The next part of this is that you test yourselves on the formula. So you are using PMP testing software, aren't you? Something like Kaplan testing software or Simplilearn or other vendors of testing software. You test yourself in the classroom, you test yourself on PMP formulas whenever you can, getting help from other people. So you practice your formula questions whenever you can, practice them until you know them, and this is easy to say and hard to do. I understand that. So let's talk about a summary on how to learn the PMP formulas. I do not recommend memorizing someone else's formula list. I don't want to recommend learning someone's list that's 7, 2, 3, 4, 5 pages long. You might use that as a baseline to approach the difficulty of the task. What I recommend instead is that You build and memorize your own PMP brain dump page. You do it within the context of your studies, process by process. You examine every process for the formulas and the answers to those formulas, and you use my formula page as a start. You can do it. It's just Microsoft Word. Just to show it to you again, your baseline will look like this. It'll have this in the upper left-hand corner. You might start off with a few schedule variance, cost variance formulas, and then leave lots of white space open. So all you have to do is pop in an image and then create a couple of tables and revise this over time and test yourself along those lines. So getting back to this, we're done. That's it for the summary. Thank you so much for visiting Dad's Learning Videos on YouTube. I hope you had fun. I enjoy doing these things. Each video that I do that takes 15 minutes probably takes an entire hour of my time. I tend to do it on Sundays when my wife is out shopping or something. If you have a chance, please like this page. Leave a constructive comment if you'd like. That'd be great. Always like to read comments from folks. And tell your fellow PMP students to visit my YouTube channel. As of October 6, 2013, I'm getting over 3,000 YouTube videos a month. Thanks. I hope to get more. Getting back to me, my name is Richard Kraneis. It's a unique name, a unique brand. I am the only Richard Kraneis in the U.S. and I think anywhere. I am a PMP from Chicago, Illinois, as of June 2013. I do business analysis, project management, SharePoint, and all that I do. I intermingle all of them. And one of the reasons I do this, do these YouTube videos, is to encourage LinkedIn inquiries, new projects, training engagements. Employers and recruiters are welcomed also. So have a great day. Thank you so much for visiting. Good luck in passing the PMP.